Welcome everybody to the energy update for the week 2nd to 8th February of 2019. My name is Jona Bryndis. I'm an energy healer, energy trainer, and energy coach, and I'm airing from not so sunny Florida today here in my healing tent outside. So forgive me the background noises. That's part of my choice to be in the midst of those collective energies and not hide myself away in my office. I know it's sometimes annoying because we have a lot of unpredictable noises coming in, but that's part of life. So those of you who are familiar with my energy updates know that this energy barometer that I do here every week gives you a little bit of a heads up. Now, this is obviously about our subjective perception. You know, how we perceive our life, how we perceive our own situation, you know, is super, super individual. But there are some commonalities. So regardless of whether you are an energetically sensitive in Australia or in Canada or in South Africa, Europe, or the US, the influences that you will feel are very, very similar. And this is something that I can say because I work with people from all over the world in these energy sessions and energy coaching sessions. You know, I ask them, you know, to give me like a little heads up on how they're feeling. And often, if you're very sensitive, you know, you've maybe gone through some of these things that I report already. So the ratio of energetically sensitives is roughly 15% to 85%. So the mainstream, the main populace rely on their five senses. Okay, so energetically sensitives and empaths rely on their sixth and seventh sense. And so the difference here is that there's a little bit of a time lag there. In essence, everything that I report here every week has already happened, and then it needs to come to an unfoldment. And other than that, obviously, energies and energy fields are non-local and non-temporal, so they don't really obey to our calendar weeks, which are all just mental constructs anyway. All right, so let's get started here with no further ado. What this next week, week 6, has in store for us. You see that the barometer is on greenish here, and what does this mean? Means that the bombardment, especially the kind that we have been feeling here in or throughout entire January, is going down. Okay, so that does not mean, you know, don't get fooled just by the color. All that means is that you're really more, you know, sort of boiling in your own juices now. Okay, so whatever it is that you are experiencing has a lot to do with you now. Okay, so the distractions from the outside, those are the ones that have brought you off focus. Those are the ones that have made it so hard in January, you know, whether it's to follow through with your resolutions, or whether it's, you know, for you to actually get somewhere with all the things that you are trying to accomplish. And this is ending now, okay? So there is a very distinct shift here this weekend, which is great news, but it really points at you, you know? So if you are still hanging in, you know, some of these ego illusions, as we call them, and you want things to be the way you want them to be, and you're not willing to fully see truth, well, then this can be quite a bit of an exhausting week for you. If you, however, you know, had enough of all this crazy making and deception and, you know, sort of bullshitting and gaslighting and whatnot, okay, and I'm going to say something about this here in a minute, then this is going to be a beautiful week for you, because you can really feel the shift into action. Okay, so my self-coaching question for you this week is, have you had enough? But let's look at this a little more. What are these things that need to go? What are these things that we really need to release here? You know, to have a better grip on, you know, what's real, what isn't, what's mine, what isn't. You know, what's dippy, what's realistic, what's too cold, what's too business-like, if you will. So these are the questions that we've had here in these last 4 weeks, you know, like how, you know, how can we weed through all this confusion and these schisms within ourselves? So what is it that we need to let go of? What is it that we need to weed through? What is it that we, you know, need to refine maybe? Okay, we talked about these things in the last couple of weeks. It's really now about weeding out the residue of all this unfinished business that we've been carrying around. And I know that many of you have been having issues with relationships and career/business, and I want to focus on that here in the energy update. The deeper energy tips will be in the video for Patreons and Heart Warriors. There is really no way for you to rely on anything that comes from the outside. This is the big lesson here from these last weeks. And when it comes to your partner, when it comes to yourself, when it comes to, you know, how things are being displayed on the outside, you know, this false self that we all have, that we produce for the world, it comes from the same corner in our personality that wants things to be ideal, or that wants things to be perfect, or that wants things to be in a certain way. So with that also comes a little bit of a glorification in relationships often. And that triggers you know, us to externalize our powers, like say to, you know, people that we admire, or to our partners, or to our families, or to our jobs, or what these represent for us. I talked about fantasy bond last week, and I want to repeat this, that, you know, when we feel a bond to something, or when we feel like we need to be loyal, or we need to stick to our word to something, right? Then we have to test, we have to really investigate if what we have agreed to, what we have committed to, is really the real deal, is that whether this is true or not. Because if it's not true, guys, you know, then it's really important for you to let go of it. It's your white shadow, you know, trying to please, trying to look good, you know, for others, or you know, being afraid of saying no, you know, your improper or lack of boundaries, your codependency that drives you into this confusion. And this may sort of skip a few steps here, but I, you know, do all these energy sessions and workshops in order to explain this in a deeper way. But you must get a grip on your codependency, guys, in whatever area of life that is. Okay, because this is severely messing with you. This is not allowing you to see truth, and worst of all, it's not allowing you to become real. Okay, in order to become real, you're gonna have to let go of all these false idealizations, perfectionism, and so forth. Those are ego control mechanisms, ego illusions. Okay, this journey here is about you becoming the best you can be. Okay, and in order to really move into this place, you know, where you can feel yourself, and you can feel your truth, and you can feel who you truly are, you know, your authentic self. Most of that journey, guys, is shedding all the layers, all the confusions, all the beliefs, all the blocks, all the subconscious stuff, the karmic stuff, and so forth that we've been carrying around for lifetimes sometimes. So it's really a journey of elimination. Okay, it's a continual realigning, readjusting, resetting, choosing to be me, choosing to feel, and choosing to be real. And there's nothing wrong with this. Okay, it's just a mental brain fart, you know, that there's such thing as an ideal, or, you know, somewhere up there, you know, where we have to be. And if we're not there, then we're not good enough. This is all your guys' egos, you know, messing with you and trapping you in this abyss of I'm not good enough, no matter what I try, it's not working. So next week you're really, really going to have to investigate that a bit more now that sort of the worst part of the drama is over. Okay, this like extreme craziness that was there these last 2 weeks, that's calming down now. Okay, that's why the arrow is on green. But what comes now is the self-responsibility and the accountability part, the part where you actually grow from all these experiences, where you see this as a maturing. You don't want this to repeat over and over again. So that's why the self-coaching question is, have you had enough yet? I've shared this many times, and it's in the nature of our ego to not want to change. I mean, mentally, intellectually, we may agree to change, but the ego, can still dominate you there. Do not really want change unless the pain of staying where you're at is so big that there's no way you can stay in that. Okay? So until the pain of where you're at becomes bigger than the fear of the unknown, because the fear of the unknown is what triggers your ego and what creates all these ego illusions and what messes with your perception. Okay? So you see, it's all about ego illusions here this next week, and I want to point out that on a physical level, this will also be very, very important that we follow through with this. So this is a detox week, guys, and I want to just real quickly invite you guys to join us here on Monday in our self-healing forum. We are starting a community detox. It's a 3-day light fast, light fast, not like no food, so we're going to do juices and broths and everything and share how we're doing and keep cheering each other on for 3 days, because this is now all about following through, guys. This is all about walking the talk and really, you know what I want to say, right? Living up to that, living up to your truth. And why am I recommending this physically? Because there's going to be there still is a lot of stress on your system, especially your lymphatic system, guys. Okay, so your lymphatic system needs more support. I mentioned this last week already. Go to superfoods. Okay, load up on walnuts, load up on acai. Get the vitamin C stuff going. Get your juices flowing. And the best way to do this is to reboot. Our physical responds really well to reboot. Okay, first of all, it allows our system to not be too busy with getting rid of nutrients or getting rid of residues. And therefore, it helps to really release the stuff that has been stored. But it also motivates and it brings in this beautiful energy, that gives us the courage to make change. Okay, so this next week, you really want to go into action, okay? And if there were things in the last weeks, guys, that really bugged you and that, showed sort of maybe the true colors of your partner, or some of the things that really, really made you angry, okay, then be a little careful here next week, because you don't have time for revenge. You don't have time for this retaliation stuff. It's not about that, okay? It's about you piercing through your ego illusions, and if you have let it come that far, that means you have been enabling it, so you be accountable for that, and speak your truth. If you have issues with your partner, if you discovered that your partner is a narcissist and that you are codependent, okay, you really need to watch your own inner communication and see how much of your internal you, is actually enabling all of that. So in the energy tips, I'll talk a little more about this, how to do this, but you really got to investigate your own little lies, your white lies, and where you kid yourself. Okay. So the problem with, our darkness and the fear of you know, being all alone and so forth, which is what many of us had to deal with here these last week, is that it really pulls you into this illusion, you know, that first of all, that you are alone, okay, because to a degree you are, you know, if you separate yourself from others, from, you know, your true self, you know, as sort of the major source of your power, then you are alone. And what happens is that you get pulled into this darkness, into this abyss, as I called it here, you know, more and more the longer you stay there. So even if none of what I just said made sense to you, you know, remember this: the longer you stare into the abyss, the more the abyss stares back at you. And what are some other things that you can do? You can definitely watch your own expressions, you know, like watch your body, watch your words, okay? What are you expressing? You know, do you sigh a lot? Do you roll your eyes? Do you have body language that is expressing like annoyance or frustration? Then actively change that, you know, and say to yourself, yes, I can, okay? If you stay in this, and oh, this is so hard, and you know, you making it happen. You enabling it. You programming yourself for suffering. Okay? So there's got to be a part in you that is willing to really choose to not give in to this. This is like a temptation. And not that you just think of all these big temptations, you know, maybe, you know, whatever, the non-integrous stuff. It's the little things, guys. It's the everyday things. It's the, no, I'm not going to exercise today. I wanted to meditate. Nah, I'd rather, you know, watch a TV show. Whatever it is, this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. You got to catch that and you got to shift that. And there's no better week for doing that than this coming week. And nobody's really sharing anything. So guys, let me, give me a little bit of heads up. I see Denmark. I see Switzerland. Guys, how are you doing? How is what I'm talking about here resonating with you? Can you find yourself in what I'm talking about? Okay, I admit I can be a little harsh sometimes. But guys, this is the thing with truth, okay? If it was easy to speak truth, if it was easy to accept truth, we wouldn't have a problem with truth, right? So if you want to become real, if you want to become a true self, if you want to, you know, truly move towards happiness, fulfillment, you know, and purpose, then you really got to take that on. It's a challenge, yes. If everybody had this figured out, guys, there was no suffering in this world. But see, the cool thing is, when we do this together, when we do this as a group, whether we know each other or not, you know, when we see that we're not alone, it's so much easier, guys. And that's the thing that we need to really start feeling. So this is why I'm like a radio tower here. Like, let's do this together. Okay, we're going to go detox on Monday. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, chop, chop, chop. You know, or we're doing the 10-day challenge. You know, let's do 10 minutes exercise, 10 minutes meditation, 10 minutes learning. Okay, hardware program, like energy sessions every other day, you know, energy coaching every week, energy training club, you know, energy sessions over and over and over again. I mean, this is what I'm doing here, okay? this is I'm like the cheerleader and say, hi, we can do this together. It's easier, okay? Get this, guys. Okay? Yes, that's the truth. But anyway, besides that, you know, the cool thing is to be in this time and to actually witness all of this and to, you know, understand, you know, the human nature, to understand the nature of the ego, and also to see what's needed, you know, to help with this. So here is my bridge to the giveaway. The giveaway for this week, week 6, is going to be 3 tickets for the upcoming energy training intensive, how to manage my energy. And this will help you to literally learn how to ground yourself, how to center yourself, and how to self-clear yourself. Well, you may think, well, yeah, I'm in South Africa, or I'm in Denmark, or, well, we use a completely new way of teaching people, and that is through remote energy. And yes, for some of you, this may be a little far out there, but it works, guys. Okay, so we do recorded energy processes where my voice triggers certain things in you. Okay, so I can read energy codes, I can write energy codes, and so I record these energy processes with certain trip codes for your subconscious, and then I observe your energy on the other end. In fact, it's actually a whole entire group of energy readers on the other end, and then we exchange all that in the energy forum. Okay, so this is completely live, totally personal, no matter from where in the world you are. And the only thing you need to do to qualify for participating in this 3-day event, so you can do this while you work, you can do this while you take care of your kids, all right, then type into the into your browser here, whether you're at Instagram or Facebook, I want to learn how to better stay on focus. And you will receive a notice from me saying, yay, you won a ticket for the How to Manage My Energy Intensive next weekend. It's from the 8th till the 10th of February. So not this weekend, but next weekend. Send me your email so I can send you instructions and the MP3 download. What I want to send your way here is that we have finally gotten around to not just putting the tickets on sale, but also organizing phenomenal prices for this year's summer solstice event in Iceland. Okay, I know, guys, Iceland is like a really cool place, and I want you guys to understand that Jeff and I, we only do in-person workshops once a year, okay, and typically during the solstices. So the sacred solstice event that is now being promoted here on my site, or in Facebook and Instagram and so forth, is a very unique event, something that you don't get offered all the time. We got some good prices for you, and what it really is exactly what I was just talking about for week 6. Watch how it's done, learn how it's done, do it. Okay, so this whole energy here of coming week inward, that's like investigate, and also, be responsible, be accountable for your stuff. Onward, you really gotta decide that you don't want this anymore, okay, and let the old stuff go. And forward, put in the action that it takes to do this. All right, so that concludes the energy update here from my end. Yes, thank you, Annette, for sharing how great the Heart Warrior program is. It really is. Unfortunately, we can only take 2 people a month for this 90-day intense program, but it's really, really cool. I forgot to mention, we also have the 10-day challenge available now for everybody to join every month on the 15th. We start the So Spiritual 10-day challenge, and that is for you to learn how to really change wherever you, or to unblock yourself from wherever you get stuck in 10 days with 10-minute physical exercise or physical awareness, 10 minutes learning, mental, spiritual, emotional learning, and 10 minutes of meditation. You think you can do this? 30 minutes a day, 10 days, 180 degrees. So that is for those of you who do not want to invest so much time in your personal process. And if all this isn't enough to motivate you, then come to Iceland. All right. Thank you, guys. Yes, France, I see you too. Canada, I see you guys. Thank you so much for your hearts. Please don't forget to share, like this video, and chop chop, get going. All right, see you next week. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.